Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We are excited that you're here with us right here on Co-working Live with Red Worldwide. And we're excited that we have the opportunity to share today. Usually on Tuesdays, we come to you and we're doing something in the area of legacy planning or, building succession. And we promised that we would go into some areas today to help with some of you all that have um, the express privilege of having a nonprofit. And so we're going to talk a little bit about nonprofits. We know that tomorrow is the day that we, as nonprofits, most of us have to turn in our tax returns, whether it's a 990, 990N, 990 EZ, or 990 PF. And so for those of you who are in having that experience, that this is that time for you. We want to make sure that you have a little bit more information to work with. Some of you guys are new and you haven't yet had the experience of filing. And so this is a first time effort for you. And some of you have to file in your state and federally. And so we want to talk about that because, we want to make sure that you know what your responsibility is. So as a nonprofit, most of the time, if you are under $50,000 in revenue, then you are going to be filing of course, at all times with the federal government. If you're not a church or some other entity that is exempt from filing, then you will have to file the 990 in. And so the 990 in is for people who, again, are under $50,000. And you will find that it's a very simple filing process. You will go to the IRS website, and we're going to take you there in a few minutes to show you how it works, because we want you to have the complete understanding of what you need to do and how to do that effectively to make sure that your filing is accepted and that you know it's accepted. Many of the times that I have experienced when a client of mine has had a problem, it's usually because something happened, there was a glitch in the system and everything did not go all the way through. But I want you to know that, there's a way for you to check at the end to make sure that your filing went through and you don't end up being a person who is succumbing to the process of not having filed because your processing was interrupted by some other factor. And so we want to make sure that you understand how to make these things happen and what it is that you need to do to be sure that your filing went through. And so I'm going to share my screen and we'll go through a process of doing a sample filing so you can see what it looks like. And then from there, we will, jump back over here so that you can kind of understand a few other things about state filing. So I'm going to go to the IRS's website, irs.gov. And now that we're here at the IRS's website, we'll see that there's a place at the top where it says charities and nonprofits. And so you can actually go to the charities and nonprofits page to get some really good education, learning, how you need to do different things is really important. And you'll get a lot of that good information right here on the website. So here, there is, some information right at the top that talks about clean energy tax credit benefits available. And you can have elective pay and transferability of clean energy tax credits. And you can learn all about it by pressing this link. You'll also see that there's, these are going to always be information that's newer that they want you to know about towards the top of the website page. And so we want to make sure that you're looking there to see what it is that you can take advantage of in here for nonprofits and charities. And so here you'll see there are three boxes: the tax exempt organization search, where you can actually use this tool to find out an organization status. If you're waiting to see if your organization has been approved already with this filing, you might not be able to find yourself here yet. you'll have to probably go and look and see based on the date that put in your application, whether or not you've been approved by looking at the date of the applications that they are on, or making a phone call in to the IRS's line for charities, and then you can find out that way as well. If it's been more than 30 days, then you're welcome to make a phone call and they'll give you an answer. If they'll tell you whether or not your documents have been assigned to anyone, or if it's been already approved, or if there's a problem. Usually you can find that information out by making a phone call. But then you'll see here's annual filing and forms. And so here is the 990 series form. If you're going to do a paper filing, it's here. The 990N process is only allowed online now. There's no way to make a paper filing anymore. So you'll have to actually, file that by clicking on the link and going into their portal with your username and password to make sure that you can do that process. So this particular link here that I clicked on takes you to the annual filing and forms, and it explains all the information about annual returns, and there's lots of really good information here. Educational information about the charities and nonprofits and how they work, and even information about the different resources and tools for the 990 itself. Now, what I will tell you is that the way that I normally get to the 990N form, which is for people who have less than $50,000, is I just go to the search and put in 990N, and in that case, it will bring up the link where, if you look further down in the middle, it's going to bring up the link where it talks about the exempt e-file e-postcard. And so when you click on that, it's going to take you to another section that explains the e-postcard process. And the e-postcard process is the process for people who have organizations that have $1,000, or I should say normally $50,000 or less. And so they're not required to fill out the entire Form 990 or even 990EZ, but they can fill out the short form. And that short form is called the e-postcard. So if you go down here and click see e-postcard Form 990N, then it takes you to the 990N e-postcard page. And it explains all about the 990N. It's not a paper form. That it's an online process. And after you've read this and feel comfortable that you can move forward because you have all the information that you need to have available, you can click on Submit Form 990N e-postcard. When you click on that, it's going to take you to the login screen. Now, a lot of you who have been on here with us before, we've talked about, how to navigate the IRS's website. And we've talked about sam.gov and the CAGE code that you might have to obtain if you're looking to do business with the government or get any kind of federal funding. And so in order for you to get into any of these websites, any government website, you have to either have a login.gov or an ID.me passcode and username. And so in this particular case, because we're always going in for our company, we use the login.gov instead of the ID.me. ID.me is usually when you're going in as an individual. And if that's how you started, you can still use that to get access to the website. But, if you are usually working as a company, then you would already be familiar with probably the process of using the login.gov and getting the information that you need to have. So in this case, it's going to send me an authorization because they have two-factor authentication on these sites. And so I'm going to go and grab that information from my phone so that I will be able to log in. And let's see, what do we have? Okay, it's going to send me a text message. Continue. Okay, and I'll fill it in. And now I'm going to click remember, and I'm going to click submit. Okay. Agree and continue. So now we're inside the IRS's portal where we can electronically file your Form 990N e-postcard. The first thing you'll have to do is put in your EIN number. And as you can see, I manage this process for several nonprofits. So you can see that we have a lot of them in here already. And we've already filed for many of these this year. We, did it early. So we don't have to concern ourselves with that. But, for the sake of just the ease of use here, I'm going to put in our information just so you can see how this would work. Okay, so if you put in the EIN number, okay, then it gives you the ability now to go ahead and create a new filing. So now we can go over here and actually select one of the EIN numbers, and we can go and manage the e-postcard process if we need to manage, or we can continue to creating a filing. So when we go to continue, now it asks questions. For which tax year are you filing it for? Well, the tax year ending in 2023. Has your organization terminated or gone out of business? The answer is no. Are your gross receipts normally $50,000 or less? The answer in this case, for the sake of the demonstration, we're going to say yes, but we're not going to go all the way through because ours is over that. But I'm just wanting to make sure that you understand how to go forward with the process. Your legal name, and our legal name is correct here, and our employer identification number is correct. And so now we're going to go to continue. Okay. And then literally, this is all the information that they want to know about your organization for you to submit this filing. Do you have a DBA? Okay. What country are you in? What is your address? And so we would put our address in there. And what town? And what's your zip code? And now they want to know the website. And then they'll want to know who the principal officer is. And so it's a person, and I'm not going to go through the whole process here, but you would just put the person's name in there, and again, the country that the person lives in and their address and all of that. And literally you'll hit submit your filing. And once you hit submit your filing, then you are going to be able to we're going to cancel here, but you'll be able to get to the screen where these particular filings have been done. Now, in the case of when you get here, it will give you kind of a timeline. It'll tell you that you can check for your status in 7 minutes. That's usually how long it takes. And so basically you'll have here a pending status like we have for this particular organization until you get the updated status. So you wait the 7 minutes, because if you wait the 7 minutes, you will then see that your organization has either been accepted or it was rejected. And if it's rejected, then you can go through the process again, or you can check back with the IRS to see what's going on to make sure that you are doing things right. But we're going to get updated status so you can see what that works like. And here you see that this particular organization's paperwork has been accepted. And now because you'll want to have printed a copy on the prior screen. So make sure when you get all the way through the process, it'll say, do you want to print a copy? And your answer is going to be yes, because this is the only time you will ever be able to get a printed copy of your 990N. Yes, you'll be able to see on the website that you filed, but you will not be able to get a copy unless you're getting it from here. So I'm saying that to you because I want to make sure that you don't put yourself in in a situation where you don't have access to what you need, okay? You need to have a copy of that 990N. That's very, very, very important, the document. And it's important for several reasons, because if you ever go to apply for anything, they're going to want to see that you have it. And sure, you can prove that you did it on the IRS's website, but they want to sometimes see the document. So you want to print it out and keep it, okay? The IRS will not send you a copy. I'm just saying, you have to make sure you have it. They'll have copies and proof that you filed it, but they will not send you a copy of the actual document. So you need to make sure that when you do this, that you fill it out completely and you wait and get the process all the way through, print out that copy, and make sure that it was accepted here, because you can have a copy saying that you did the process, but if it wasn't accepted, that copy will be invalid. So you need to make sure that you have that, and you have a submission ID. Okay. All right. So this one here, you can see that this particular organization was done, and that the confirmation or the submission ID is there, and we have proof that this process was foolproof. Now, what happens if you have an organization that made more than $50,000? Well, let's go to another screen, because I'm going to take you to an option that you might have for doing the taxes yourself. Simple990.com. I have used them many times for different organizations, and prior to being a tax professional, I even used them for our organization. And so you can actually search the organization by name. So I'll put ours in here, and you'll see what happens when I do. Okay, and it pulls us up, and it pulls us up by the EIN number, because that's public information. And so now it shows that we filed our 2021, we filed our 2022, and the 2023 is due by tomorrow. And so we're now filing using Intuit. But, if we were still filing using their organization, we could go in here and click e-file now. And I'm going to show you how simple this is to use them. It's going to be a 990 easy this year for us, based on how much money we made last year. And we're going to click on File My 990 Easy. And when we do so, okay, it actually will take us to the section inside of the website that will allow us to file. Okay, so you can manage multiple if you have more than one 990 easy that you need to file, you can manage it in here very easily. And there should be no problems with you being able to do that. In order for me to get in here, I'd have to log in. So let me just do that. Okay. All right, so now we have 3 entities in here, and we can actually, e-file any of these that we need to at this point, so that we could, make sure that we are doing what's necessary. In this particular case, these are 990Ns, so we could e-file either one of these, and this one would be a 990EZ. And when you click on it, it's going to give you the option to choose which one you need to file. And based on what it is that you received in your entity, or how much money you received last year, you would choose the proper form. Now, of course, I just showed you the other way that you could file the 990N for free on the IRS's website, but you could also do it here through their website as well. The 990EZ is going to cost money. And so I want to make sure that you do know that if you're using this simple 990, you're going to pay a fee to file here. And if you're using them for the full 990, you'll also pay a fee to file here. So this is the way that you would do it. You would click on e-file now, and then it takes you to an interview process. And in the interview process, it's going to ask you several questions. Now, because we have information already in here, it's pulling up an error, just because they want us to put in the information, according to what this year is, whether or not we're using cash or accrual systems or the type of way that we track our income, whether we are, 501c3 or have some other type of designation, if we're a corporation, a trust, or an association, and what our gross receipts were. Okay. And so we would go through the entire process of the interview, answer all their questions, and based on the answers to the questions, when we get to the end, we would have the ability to go ahead and move to making the payment, signing our form to give this company the opportunity to file all the way through. And we at that point would have the ability to make sure that we have given everything, because we get to look at it to make sure that everything that's in here is correct. And once we've done that, we go to signing and checkout, and we're done. Okay, so this is really a simple process. When they say simple 990, they mean what they say. Now, if you are utilizing a tax professional, then your situation may be a little different. They may have asked you to provide them with information for your contributions, for your service revenues, for your membership dues, if you have those, investment income and gross amount. All of these things are things that your tax professional may have asked you to provide them so that they could do your taxes. And you have to make sure that you balance. What does that mean? That means that the net assets or fund balances at the end of the year match every amount that you said that you spent, okay, or that you've received. When they do the subtraction in the formula, it has to match. And if it does not match, this system will not allow you to go forward. And so it's really a simple process. If you have all of your information, you just need to make sure that you balance and that you go through and reconcile everything so that you can see where you have your income and the amount of money that you actually spent, the cost of goods sold, any program fees, any grants that you received, and that you have all of that information in a place where you are able to put it into the system properly and have all of the numbers come out to make sense. Okay. And so I'm just saying that because I have had the experience of someone handing me their bank statements and, and some receipts and, not having all of their information in order. And when we go to balance, we didn't, because I didn't have all the things that I needed from them to be able to balance. And so I am saying to you that help yourself, so that when you begin to do this process, you don't have those things as a problem. And it's very important that you are able to make sure that when you are, utilizing this kind of system, that you're doing it and you're, have all the things in place. Now, if you're using Intuit, okay, and so some people are using QuickBooks and they are, careful to make sure that whatever they're doing, they're keeping up with their information. You don't usually have to concern yourself with a lot of the things that I'm talking about now, because generally what will happen is Intuit, if it's connected to your bank account, okay, and I'm just going to kind of take a dive in here so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. But if Intuit is connected to your bank account, then what will happen is that it will, have all of the information available in the system for you to pull over into your tax account. So here we have QuickBooks Online and we have ProConnect Tax. And so the information that's in our QuickBooks Online automatically is pulling from our bank accounts. And from there, we can actually do the taxes inside of the ProConnect Tax. And so I'm just kind of heading over. We won't go too deep into this, but I just want you to see that, you have the ability to, have ease of use when you're using certain kind of tools. And sometimes, we have other clients that are using TaxSlayer. We do use TaxSlayer for, specific clients that like that particular software. But, we have the ability to go in here and look at the tax returns section. And if we're working on a particular tax return for a client, we can pull that client up and, actually begin the process of completing the tax return for them in the system, because they've given us all the information to work with and allowed us to connect to the bank accounts. And based on that, we have had the opportunity to move forward with the tax accounting process to make sure that everything is the way that it needs to be. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing now. So let's talk about a few things that I think would be really beneficial for people who are looking this tax season for if you're a nonprofit and you're looking to make sure that by tomorrow you have everything in order. So the first thing is that I want you to really understand what taxes are. Taxes are tools. And I told people this the other day who were on the line with us. And when we were talking about taxes, they're levers. They really do unlock certain types of doors for people to be able to do things differently within their company. When you're in compliance with the tax law, then you have the ability to take advantage of certain things that are availed to you as a company that could, actually get you a refund. And then some things, you may be even able to utilize tax credits, but we're going to talk about tax credits in another session. We're going to do a deep dive on tax credits next week, and I want you guys to be present for that. But today we're just talking about the nonprofit and filing taxes for the nonprofit. So the taxes are charges imposed by authority or persons on their public property or private property, for public purposes. Though the taxes are really there so that people can, weigh in on collectively on what it is that we are having to take care of when it comes to, our federal government and our state and our counties and our cities. And so some taxes take care of the roads, while other taxes take care of the schools, and some taxes take care of Medicaid and Medicare, while other taxes, are there to make sure that the government runs efficiently and that we don't run out of money, And so we want to, talk about the fact that the taxes themselves are really something that, if you have the ability to understand them, it's not a negative thing. And I want people to really, really get that and not feel bad about, having the ability or disability, when they're looking at taxes. And so in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about, some software that you can use, to help you stay very organized during your season. And we've talked about this from a for-profit standpoint before, because a lot of the people who are really nervous about their taxes, on February, we really kind of dived into, what you could do for tax season and how you could make sure that you had available some of the tools that you might need. And so I'm going to open up my slides in a few minutes, and I want to, make sure that people are able to, really take advantage of, looking at what it is that you can do as a company, a nonprofit, to help you with regards to the taxes. And because a lot of people are nervous about them, they feel like the IRS is not their friend, and they end up, feeling very uncomfortable. And there's a lot of anxiety around tax time. I don't know if any of you guys have felt that, but it really is, and it's not. It doesn't have to be. And so, with that being said, I want you to get ready to kind of look at this from the standpoint of what you can do as a nonprofit organization who has to file your taxes. How can you prepare, and how can you make sure that you don't end up in a situation where so many things are out of order and you're feeling stressed and uncomfortable because of tax. So I'm going to open up these slides, and I want to make sure that you guys are all able to see them. So just give me just a second to just, you know, get you to the right place. So here we go. We're going to share our screen. And thank you for kind of working with me here. Okay. All right. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, it says screen sharing is paused. Let me stop sharing and try that one more time. Let's see. Let's try this one. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, my name is Patience Rose, and I am the founder and CEO of Red Worldwide. But I'm a business advisor and a tax advisor and a management accountant. And so I as a certified business coach and a professional tax preparer and a corporate tax strategist, I try to bring, things to the table to help people so that they feel comfortable about, what it is that they're doing as a professional, and they learn how to use their skills, that they do have in running their company to their benefit and not to their detriment. And so what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that it's very, very, very important as a tax professional that you understand, what you have available to you. And so when we're looking at this and we are asking the question, what is tax anyway? And I just explained that it's a charge imposed by an authority on persons or property for public purposes. But I also want you to understand that taxes are tools. And I said that before, and I'm going to say it again. They're tools. They are levers. They unlock certain doors that allow you to have access, or not. Okay, if you didn't prepare or you don't know how to use them properly, then you don't, of course, get the benefits of, some of the things that understanding and mastering tax can provide you. And so when we're looking at this from the standpoint of the consequences of disorganization, and I know that you see the word written all on top of the other words, it just kind of gives you an idea of what happens when we don't have everything in order. And so when you have things out of order and you're not using a system that is allowing you to take advantage of the art of preparing and being available and ready ahead of time, you end up with gaps and inefficiencies and things of that nature. So the consequence of disorganization is, giving you all types of issues when you haven't had the time to prepare. And so you want to be able to audit your current situation, your everything in your office, to make sure that you have, an organizational system that allows, you to have access to categories for your documents by type and tax year. That is something that's very, very important. The benefits of being organized are, that you're able to leverage technology to automate as much of the tax preparation process as possible. And you can choose an accounting software that integrates with your bank accounts and categorizes transactions automatically. And I know I've heard people say that's really expensive. QuickBooks costs a lot of money, and I've heard them talk about, not wanting to pay as much money as they would have to pay. But I'm telling you, I guarantee you that if you do not organize, you're paying for it, in other ways. And so I am saying to you that maybe you're not the person that wants to pay, $42 a month for QuickBooks, and I will tell you that there are other options. If you're a nonprofit, you can get QuickBooks by being a part of TechSoup. And as long as you pay the fee on TechSoup, then you will have the 1 year use of QuickBooks for free. It's a grant. And so you should take advantage of that. If you miss the window where it's no longer available, then you still might be able to get QuickBooks at a discount. And there are a few discounts going around right now for QuickBooks. There's one discount where you get 50% off for 3 months. And there's another discount that if you're working with a tax professional and they do the pass through of the discounts that they get with QuickBooks, then you might be able to get QuickBooks for 30% off for the entire year. And so we do a pass, on to our clients that discount that we're working with. If we're handling their taxes or their bookkeeping, then they can work with our precision management group and get access to that 1 year discount of 30%, so that they don't have to be a nonprofit to get that. You can be nonprofit or for-profit, and depending on what package you choose with QuickBooks, it's going to be 30% off of whichever package that you decide that you need to use. Okay. The other thing is that document management, it is really, really important. You need to digitize all tax-related documents by using a scanner or a mobile scanning app. The newest software inside of the iPhone and the iPad makes scanning, absolutely simple. But if you don't have that and we're on some other type of phone that doesn't have a really good scanning app, you can always download Adobe Scan, because it is absolutely flawless in the way that it works. It will allow you to adjust the document if it's a little skewed because of the fact that you took a picture of it and it was a little off. And whatever it is that you're doing, remember that when you are utilizing your scanner to put documents in your phone or in your computer or either on your devices, your mobile devices, make sure you put them in a system where you can lock it, because unfortunately, if someone gets a hold to your device and you have sensitive information, like credit card numbers or, maybe a portion even of the credit card number, having other parts of your information could give them access to things that you don't want them to have. So use, the systems that are available on your phone to lock down information. I know inside of the Apple ecosystem, we have, the ability to encrypt notes. And if you're using the Notes app from Apple, you could actually, put the right type of passcoding on a note and make sure that other people can't get access to what it is that you have there. If you use Evernote, you can encrypt notes. If you use Note Shelf, you can save notes with a passcode as well. There are lots of different apps that do allow you the ability to save and encrypt a note. And so I want you to take advantage of those. And then you're going to store these digital copies of things in a secure, encrypted cloud service for easy access if you are putting it online. Okay, so if this is the case where you're using Google Docs or OneDrive or Box.net or Dropbox or any of those cloud services, Amazon NAS, make sure that you are encrypting it. It's one thing for them to give you the ability to encrypt. It's another thing altogether for you to take advantage of that process. So make sure that you are not saying, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or oh, I'll do it the next day. No, do it today, because you don't ever know when somebody's going to get access to your information. And so we want you to make sure that you're keeping your information safe. Now, here are some wonderful softwares that you can use for your accounting. Okay, so the receipt scanner software that's available, and it's called Easy Expense, and it's for scanning and organizing receipts. Specifically, it's designed for that. Okay, so Neat Receipts is another one. It's not on this list, but we have used Neat Receipts. I have a Neat Receipt scanner, and we just scan the receipts through, and it puts it into the software. Both of those are not free. So excuse me, because they're not free, you need to think about, your budget. And if this is something that's in budget, then I would go for it, because it's a good way of making sure you have access. Another option would be Evernote. It's versatile for, note taking and organizing documents and keeping access to receipts. Cam Scanner is another one. It turns your phone into a scanner for digitizing documents and receipts. And I believe that it has a free version and then a paid version that operates off the freemium model. Then there's, of course, as we talked about, QuickBooks and QBO, which is the QuickBooks Online. And then there's the app that goes along with that. And so having access to the app gives you the ability to take copies of the receipts on the fly, to log your mileage, to do a lot of different things. So I want you to make sure that if you're going to use that ecosystem and then get into it, use it all. There's a lot of free things in there, and so take advantage of the things that don't cost money, and then try to get the discounts for the things that do. Okay. Expensify is another one for managing receipts and expenses, especially useful for business expenses because it's designed for that. So you are able to take advantage of that. Expensify is spelled EXPENSIFY. Okay, then there's Smart Receipts, and it tracks receipts and generates expense reports. So it doesn't just, do the receipts part, but it actually will give you a report that you can utilize, when you're wanting to do your cash flow statements, balance sheets, and profit and loss statements. And then Pocket, it saves articles, videos, and other content for the web that's for later viewing. And you could use it also to keep up with receipts. Okay. And then the last one we're going to talk about today is Airtable. And I love Airtable because it's a low code platform that's for building custom apps and organizing and managing nearly anything, including your accounting processes. You can, navigate in there and keep up with receipts. You can actually create ledgers inside of Airtable. And there are some, systems that are already database files that they've already built out that you can use inside of the marketplace. So you don't have to build it yourself. You can use something that other people have already built. And it does support a wide range of use cases, from managing the inventory to tracking projects to, of course, consolidating research and accounting processes. So these are all softwares that you can use. Now, Airtable has a freemium version as well. So you could get started with Airtable for free. And as long as you're not sharing it with someone else, you will have the ability to use it, for, the use that you probably could get away with for a good portion if you are new. And then, of course, if you decide that you need its premium features, I believe it's only $10 a month to pay for the premium features. So, I mean, who could, not pay $10 a month, if you're really looking at the cost versus the benefit, okay, of having, your everything, everything from your accounting systems to your inventory organized. Well, this has been Patience Rose with Red Worldwide and Co-working Live, and we are excited that you did join us today. We look forward to you being with us tomorrow, where we will be, talking about some things that have to do with our health and our wellness, to keep us, ready and active to do business better. But in the meantime, what we are going to do today is we're going to let you go and see you back here again next time.